Okay, so welcome to the ZMY Begin class. Go ahead and lie down on your back. And we're just gonna start, you have two options here. You can just keep the legs straight, beginning in this Shavasana pose, this corpse pose. Or if you want, you can bring the bottoms of the feet together and drop the knees out to the side. So coming into this cobbler's pose. If you're feeling too much strain on the inner thighs when you do this, if you do have blankets nearby, you can put them underneath the legs, or you just keep the legs straight. We'll do other ways. We'll be opening the hips in other ways too. Whatever you decide, make sure you can be comfortable here for a few moments. And whatever you did decide, you can always change your mind. So remember that too. You're just going to begin by connecting with the breath. Just notice the inhale and the exhale. We're not trying to control the breath, force the breath. We're just kind of noticing what quality of breath we're bringing to the mat today. And I'm just going to kind of offer this to you. This week has been a really big week of release. And we still have a long way to go before we're all feeling back to normal, of course. But if you have been feeling extra tired this week or extra emotional or anything, maybe you are physically going through some sort of release that kind of manifests in the body in different ways. So just be gentle with yourself. Know that collectively we're all kind of there right now. And so your focus for today can be, just move to feel good. Or if there's anything else that's bubbling to the surface right now that you'd like to focus on, as long as it includes, it's coming from a place of love and not harshness, then I'll encourage you to focus on that. Letting go, acceptance, any of those things. Just remember the way that we move on the mat and how we treat ourselves on the mat is a big indication of what we're doing off the mat. So just talk nicely to yourself this morning. We'll take a few more breaths here. Maybe you've noticed the breath is slowing down, the inhale is getting deeper, the exhale is getting longer. If your knees are bent, I want you to use your hands to bring the knees back together, straighten the legs. And then you're going to bring the arms overhead, and we're just going to take a really long stretch. Just stretch through the fingertips all the way down through the toes. And then bring the arms back down. You're going to bend the knees, and we're going to shift our hips to the right side of the mat. So we'll come into a twist. Hips to the right, drop your knees to the left. And then your arms are going to extend either straight out, or if you feel like you need to be in a deeper stretch for the pectoral muscles and the upper arms, shoulder area, you can bend the elbows. And do your best here to soften the muscles in the face, soften the throat. That way the abdominals can release here and the lower back muscles can release. You can look over the right fingertips if you want to, but you don't have to. Only do that if it's okay with your neck. And as we move through class slowly, the mind is going to have a tendency to want to leave and start doing other things. The mind is not meant to focus on one thing at a time. So you're going to train it to come back to the inhale and the exhale. Same slow, steady breath that we were just doing. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And then on that third exhale, bring your knees back up towards the ceiling, center your pelvis. Before we move to the other side, we're going to take the right ankle and put it on top of the left thigh, as close to the knee as possible. Flex that right foot to stabilize the knee joint. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. If you're really flexible and mobile here and you feel like you can go further, you'll grab the outside of the knee. Okay, but otherwise we're drawing that knee towards the body. The entire time the shoulders are soft and dropping towards the mat. And most likely you're finding that the outside of the right leg is stretching. You're getting into the piriformis muscle, which is a muscle that gets short and tight from sitting or running or walking. Just breathe here. Next exhale, go ahead and release. Both feet come down to the mat. Shift your hips to the left, coming into that twist on the other side. So the knees are going to drop to the right. Extend the arms. Remember, you have 2 choices here. If you run out of stretch with the arms straight, go ahead and bend them, bend the elbows. Notice any differences on this side than the other side also. Don't attach any judgment, just notice. We'll take 1 more breath here. Deep breath. As you exhale, bring the knees back up towards the ceiling. Hips come back to center. Now we're going to take the left ankle and bring it to the right thigh, as close to the knee as possible. Flex the foot, stabilizing the knee joint. Interlace your fingers behind the right thigh. Draw that knee towards the body. Again, grab the outside of the right knee, outside of the right leg if you run out of stretch. And again, notice any differences. This side of this piriformis might be more open than the other. And then we're going to breathe wherever you are feeling that tightness or tension. As you exhale, feel it begin to release. Remember, the shoulders are soft here. If you have a tendency to hold your tension in your shoulders, you're going to want to focus on that a lot this morning. And we all do it to some extent. Go ahead and exhale, bring both feet back down to the mat, nice and slow. Separate the feet. So the knees are going to have room to kind of drop back and forth. So just creating a little bit more heat in the hips, just to open them up. Good. And then go ahead and slow down your rocking. We're going to bring the feet back together and we're going to hug both knees, but bring them up one at a time. That way we're not pulling on the lower back. And then rock left to right, squishing the lower back muscles, completely release the torso here. and then come back to center. We're gonna bring the feet down, roll on to our right side to push ourselves up safely. And then we'll come into a child's pose. So big toes together, knees apart. You're gonna sit back on your heels. Extend, like really mindfully, just feel the arms walking forward until you're able to lower your forehead onto the mat. And if your forehead doesn't touch the mat, you can stack your fists or use a block. Good. And just kind of make some small movement here, rocking back and forth, rolling the forehead back and forth, just turning the brain off and going into feeling instead of thinking. We can start to focus on the shoulders a little bit. You can press the hands and the fingertips into the floor, and you'll notice that that'll kind of start to open the shoulders a little bit. And then you can release. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. Notice the breath in the back of the body. And now inhale, lift the head. You're going to lift the head. We're going to walk the hands as far to the right as we can, and then soften towards the floor. So getting into those QL muscles or anywhere else, wherever you're feeling it is where you need it. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And then inhale, lift, walk your hands as far to the left as you can, or the other side, as long as you're doing both sides. Soften towards the floor. We'll take 1 more breath here. And then inhale, lift back to center. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 options here. It depends on where you feel like you need to open. You can come to hands and knees while we do this thread the needle thing, or you can just stay back on your heels and do it that way. Okay, either way, you're going to lift the head, you're going to walk the hands towards the body. And if you're feeling kind of tight, you might want to lift off the heels for thread the needle. But if you're feeling just kind of comfy back here, you can thread the needle here. Does that make sense? Good? Okay. I'm going to show you at hands and knees. Take the left hand to the center. Inhale the right arm up. And then exhale, slide it under your left arm. You're just going to reach the right fingertips as far as you can and let your head rest on the mat. And then with your left arm, you can keep it at a 90-degree angle, pushing on the floor, supporting you in the twist. This is if you're up off of your heels. If you're sitting back on your heels, you can extend the top arm. Just trust that your body knows what you need and just go where it needs. What we're trying to do here is make sure the body is in some sort of twist. And then if your shoulder is tight, you might feel a nice stretch in the right shoulder socket or back in the scapula or shoulder blade area. We want to pay attention to not bending the neck here. So keep the neck as neutral as possible. We're going to take 3 more breaths here. See if you can creep those right fingertips maybe a little bit more. If not, that's fine. Just stop wherever your body's allowing you to. And then exhale back to center. So we're coming back to hands and knees, or you're just coming back to center with your hands. Same thing on the other side. Right hand comes to center, inhale the left arm up. Exhale, slide it under the right arm. Decide what you're going to do with your right hand and breathe. See if you can creep your fingers a little bit further away from the body, go a little bit deeper into the twist maybe. And then exhale, come back to center. We're back at hands and knees. If you're sitting on your heels, come up to hands and knees. We want our knees to be hip width apart, and I'll just go over the wrists really quick because this is really important. You want your fingers to be spread. Anytime that we're bearing weight on the arms, really it's the shoulder girdle that's taking over strength so we don't hurt our wrists and our elbows. You're pressing mostly on this ball mound of the big finger and the L shape, and then evenly with the pinky ball mound, okay? And then the inner elbows are important to look at too. So if your inner elbows are sticking straight out, that means your arms are externally rotated and we need to rotate them in a little bit. You'll feel the armpits deepen. So your inner elbows don't have to be facing each other, but they should be aiming in that direction. Lastly, wrist creases. Make sure the line that your wrist is making is parallel to the top of the mat, okay? We'll begin our Betalasana here. The hands can be a little bit in front of the shoulders, but this is how you're gonna do a setup with your arms every single time when we're in down dog or anything else like that. For cat pose, we're gonna inhale, lift the tail, drop the belly, and lift the chin. And then exhale, lead with the tailbone, press the hands, drop the head, you're arching the back. Inhale, go back to where we were, so you're just gonna keep going back and forth with the inhale and the exhale. Let the spine release into the back, and then exhale, press the hips towards the face. Really let the head dangle here when you exhale. What we're trying to do is just get movement in the whole spine. A big problem with what happens, getting degenerative disc tissue disease or arthritis in the back is because we're not moving the spine. It literally gets dried out, the spinal cord. And when we move the body like this, it keeps the lotion happening. Wherever you are, you're gonna do 3 more rounds. And if you can have your eyes closed here and just continue to focus inward. You can move your shoulders. Just really listen and nurture the body right now. But when you're finished, we're gonna meet with a flat back, a neutral spine. We're gonna be balancing on one arm, so make sure your hands are set up. They've probably moved. And we're gonna do a bird dog pose. So our first balance pose, just trust your ears here. You're gonna be looking straight down at your mat. And you're gonna extend the right leg out behind you. Just lift the leg, lift it from the inner thigh. Toes point straight down. If you feel balanced enough here, extend the left arm, bicep to ear. And if you're feeling a dip in the lower back, press the navel towards the spine. You're pushing out through your heel, reaching through the fingertips. Take one more breath here. and then go ahead and lower. Nice and slow. Extend the left leg. Same thing on the other side. Feel the body move when you do this. You don't have to be moving quickly to change the mind and the body. Now extend the right arm out in front of you. Good. And if you're feeling that dip in the lower back, engage. One long straight line. You're pushing and pulling. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, bring the knee and the hand back down. Nice. Bring your hands all the way to the top of your mat. We're gonna hit all four corners of the mat with our hips. So big hip circles, shift forward, right, back, and left. Really open up the hips and the lower back here. Do it as if you're doing big circles. And so we'll do 3 or 4 big circles clockwise. And then we'll move in the other direction. Gosh, my knees haven't cracked one time doing this. Normally sounds like I'm grinding something on the floor. Maybe they're getting healthier. And once you're done moving around, we'll just come back to neutral. And then we'll go back to where we started. Moving the hands back towards the shoulders, but not all the way back because we're gonna come up into downward facing dog. I don't want you to focus on straightening the legs for this down dog, or any of them actually. We wanna get the spine nice and long. So curl the toes under, keep the knees bent, just lift the hips up and back. Bring your ears to your inner arms so they're lined up with the inner arms. And then those places I was telling you to press, make sure you're pressing there. Pedal the feet. You can still open up the legs by pedaling. And then we'll slow down our walking and just come to stillness. So you're gonna lengthen through the tailbone, curl the buttocks up towards the ceiling. And take one more breath here. And then we're gonna do a couple of lunges. It's not as scary as it sounds. Come back to your knees. Not dynamic stretching. Bring your right foot forward. And just bring your hands up to your thigh. Okay, with my alignment background, you guys already know I'm a broken record. I'm a stickler for the knee lining up with the toes. So the front foot, the inner edge of the foot should be pointing straight forward. And just make sure your knee is not dipping in or opening out. Press all 4 corners of this front foot into the mat to help you do that. Hands are just gonna be resting on the thigh. We're gonna shift back and forth a few times just to open up the hips. So exhale, shift forward. Inhale, come back. Exhale, forward. We'll just do this 2 more times. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back. All right, inhale, bring the arms up. Interlace the fingers, and exhale, push the palms up towards the ceiling and shift the hips forward. Now, if you feel like you can reach back a little bit, go ahead and do that. Remember, you're pressing the front foot, squeeze the thighs towards each other. One more breath. Exhale, bring the hands all the way down. Right foot comes back, left foot comes forward. All right, so I'm gonna watch you guys do it this time and then explain it through. So bring your hands up to your thigh. Just take a look real quick, be aware of where your joints are. Good. Take a deep breath in. Yeah, if you need something under the knee, go ahead and put some cushion under there. You'll exhale, shift the hips forward. Yep. Inhale, come back. Move with the breath. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back. One more time, exhale forward, inhale back, inhale the arms up, interlace the fingers. Exhale, push the palms up towards the ceiling, shift the hips forward. And then if you can reach back, just a little bit, see what feels good. One more breath, squeeze the thighs towards each other. And then exhale, look down, bring your hands back to the ground. Bring that left leg back, curl the toes under, back up into downward facing dog. And just move the legs around a little bit here. All right, so we're gonna come to a standing position, but we're gonna do it kind of backwards. So separate your feet to the edges of the mat. And if you can get them flat, get them flat. Don't worry too much about the back right now. The abdominals are gonna be engaged. So walk the hands towards the body. And then bring your hands, we're not shoving the shins. We don't wanna like damage our bodies, but put your hands to your shins and see if you can use the muscles in your back body to keep you lifted halfway up. Shoulders back, inner edges of the shoulder blades are working. The neck is just neutral. I'm gonna take another breath here so nobody passes out. And then slightly bend the knees. Inhale, bring the arms all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Okay, we're gonna do some movement with sun salutations. We're gonna do 2 sun salutation A. I'm gonna do the first one with you. Come to the front of your mat. Or just find a spot, yep. Just let the arms dangle. Feel your feet. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees here if you need to, but drop the head all the way. Inhale, you're gonna just look up so you get a flat back. And then on an exhale, you're gonna step back, come to your knees, because I need to tell you something. I need to tell you a secret. Chaturanga is hard. Okay, so what we're gonna do is either come from the position of straight legs, so watch me here for a minute, you can stay at your knees, and we lower our bodies evenly to the floor, okay? Elbows touch the sides of the body. Or we do that on our knees because it's kind of hard at first. So at our knees, do the same thing. Elbows touch the sides of the body, we lower all the way down. Okay? All right. So decide if you want straight legs or you're gonna do this at your knees. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, lift. So chest, shoulders, head lifted, cobra. And then curl the toes under. We're gonna exhale into downward facing dog, or you could do child's pose for 5 breaths. 1, 2, deep breaths here. 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, step forward towards your hands. Exhale, fold. Inhale your arms all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good, we're gonna do that one more time, but I'm just gonna watch you guys and talk you through it this time. So begin in your mountain pose. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Drop the head. Inhale, look up. Get a nice flat back. And then exhale, step back. Lower your body evenly to the floor with or without your knees. Good. Inhale, lift to a cobra. Chest, shoulders, head. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Hips up and back. 1, taking 5 breaths here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, look up, step forward. Good. Exhale, fold. Keep your legs really strong, your knees bent if you need to. Nice flat back as you inhale and come all the way up. Strengthen the back. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. How are we feeling? Good? Okay. All right, so we're at the front of our mats. We're gonna do warrior 1 and we're gonna do warrior 2, because I know we don't need any props for that, and that's just where I'm thinking it'd be good for today. Bring your left leg back. The thing about this is we wanna make sure that our hips are pointing forward. Bend the front knee. Engage the glutes in the back. So press the outer edge of the back foot. And then inhale, bring your arms up, but be sure that your palms are facing up towards the ceiling as you do that. That way we know that the shoulders will stay grounded. Bring your arms as far as you can with them staying straight. That's incredible from where you first were. I'm just like, it's like no big deal now. Your arms are just up there. That's awesome. You can even soften here a little bit. Yeah. We're gonna take 3 more breaths here. Obviously the legs are working. This is not that easy, but focus on the breath. Keep reaching through the fingertips and grounding through the feet. Good. Now we're gonna take this into a warrior 3, which is a balancing pose. So bring the hands down and put them on your waist. Just put them on your waist, your pelvic rim. Okay. You're gonna have 2 options here with the hands. They're gonna be here or you're gonna bring them back here. But decide after you start tipping forward, because what we're doing is we're sliding this back leg forward and then we're gonna start to lift it. It doesn't have to lift, but if you feel balanced and strong enough today, you can. And then decide what you wanna do with your hands. This would be the full expression of the pose. You don't have to be there today. Good. Keep breathing. Look straight down. Your neck is just an extension of the spine. Keep a micro bend in the standing knee. See if you can take 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, deeply bend the standing knee and bring both feet together and just come back to standing. Ah, you guys, that was awesome. I should have kept you in it much longer. I'm just kidding. Go ahead and do the other side. So we're gonna start in warrior 1. Right leg comes back. If you're looking for alignment in this, really the most important thing is that your hips are pointing forward, but typically your heels are lined up or the right heel is gonna be a little bit further away from the left heel. So you're bending into the front knee. Watch where your knee wants to go. You should be able to see your big toe, but not your second and third toe. That's where your knee is covering. Keep your hands on your waist. So don't move ahead. All right, engage the glutes, outer edge of the right foot. And then go ahead, palms face up, bring the arms up nice and slow. Keep the shoulders grounded. Good. Bring them all as far up as you can, keeping them straight. Good. And Sandra, you can even separate the hands if you want. See how far up your arms will go. Yeah, just separate them. Yep. And so I'm gonna give you one last cue here that I didn't for the last one. You guys all look amazing. Your alignment looks great. We have a little bit too much curve in the lower back. So what we wanna do is just drop or release the tailbone towards the floor. So it's not tucking, it's just a release, and you'll feel the lower back get a little bit longer. Yeah, that looks good. Now keep that and re-engage your back leg. Press the outer edge of the back foot. Yes. It's just one of the yoga dances, right? Okay. On your next exhale, I put my mask on as I came back to the mat. Next exhale, start to shift your weight forward, coming into that warrior three where we're balancing on one leg. You decide where you want to go with your arms, move nice and slow. Keep a micro bend in the standing knee so the knee does not lock out. Yep, the foot stays flexed, toes point down towards the ceiling or towards the floor. Now, next level here would be your pelvis stays parallel with the floor. Neck is nice and long. See if you can take just a couple more breaths here, and if you fall out of it, just go back in. Sandra, you could probably go a little further, you think? Your torso? Nice. And then come out of it when you're ready, both feet together. Where are you feeling it, in your leg?
Yeah, I'm just a little stiff.
Yeah.
But it's like good, it's not bad.
Yeah, happens. That was great. We're gonna take a wide stance. There's only one practice that we do where it actually goes warrior one, then warrior two, but that's not what we're doing here because it's a totally different plane that your hips are on, so you have to be careful. So to do warrior two, you're gonna take a side stance, separate the feet. Okay, and then your right toes are going from the hip socket, you're gonna rotate on your heel, right toes out. Little things like this are a really big deal for the health of your hips when you're doing yoga or anything else really, for your knees too. Now take your left hand to the left outer hip, like the gluteus medius area, and you're gonna push on that because we want this to be, it's kind of like a side lunge. If your knee is over your ankle, scoot your toes forward. The knee does not go beyond the ankle here. Okay? Now, your left shoulder is going to rotate back, and your torso is like between two panes of glass as you extend the arms. Good. Take a look at your right knee really quick. Make sure that it's not collapsing in. And then you're going to breathe here. We're going to take 3 breaths, and then we're going to move. You guys look great. You can gaze off the right fingertips. And so here we go with our movement. We're gonna inhale, straighten the leg, and bring the hands up together. Just reach up. Give the legs a little break. And then exhale, come back to warrior two. We're doing this 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale down, full exhale. And full inhale. Last time up. And exhale, last time down. Good. Hands to your waist. Straighten the right leg. Pivot on the heel, bring the right toes in. Pivot on the ball of the left foot to bring the left heel in and the left toes out. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Right hand on the right hip. Push into it, get that right leg nice and long. And now you'll know where your left foot should go. Knee does not go beyond the ankle here. Right shoulder comes back, extend the arms. And then you can gaze off your left fingertips. Yes. If you feel like you're pushing forward, just shift your energy back to center. You guys all look great here though. 3 breaths. It's a lot of work for the legs, but they love it. We're gonna start our movement here. Three times for the inhale, exhale. So inhale, arms up, straighten the left leg. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Last time, inhale up. And exhale down. Hands to your waist. Straighten the left leg, pivot on the heel to bring the toes in. Keep your legs where they are. Keep your hands on your waist. Engage the legs. So lift the knees, quadriceps are strong, hamstrings, but all of it is engaged right now. Lengthen and then fold. We're bringing the heart forward and the hip sockets back. Keep the legs strong the whole time, fingertips to the floor if you can, and then drop the head. Taking 3 full breaths here, you're gonna lift the sitting bones up towards the ceiling, protecting the hamstrings. If this is too much for your lower back, you can bend the knees a little bit, okay? But doing this is also going to strengthen your back as long as it doesn't feel like it's going to injure you. Shoulders back, inner edges of the shoulder blades are working towards each other. And on your next inhale, you're going to lift the head. You're going to exhale and bring your hands back to your waist. Again, bend the knees if you have to, but if you don't have to, keep the back and legs straight. Inhale, come all the way up. And then we're going to exhale and bring the feet back together. Good. Shake the legs out a little bit. That was a lot. And then come back to the front of your mat or wherever you need to go, because we're going to go back to the ground. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. You're going to come down to your knees. Cross at the ankles. And then have a seat. Sit on your sitting bones. Bring the legs out in front of you. All right. So bend the right knee. Drop it out to the side. You're going to untuck the skin away from the left sitting bone. That's going to help with this forward fold. And then the other thing, I have to talk about, this is a big thing that we talked about in our Yoga 101 class because it's a big part of yoga. It actually changes the safety and the way that we do the poses. And that's the locks, the internal locks that we do. So there's 2 internal locks. One is the pelvic floor, where we lift all 4 corners of the pelvic floor up. And then the other one is gathering at the lower belly, in and up. It's the transverse abdominals. It's the deep abdominal muscles that we lift up and lock. That's going to be key in how we fold forward or anything else really, right? Safety-wise, strength-wise. Press this left leg into the floor. Now lift the pelvic floor, zip up the abdominals, and begin to fold forward over that left leg. Walk your fingertips. If you have, if you're feeling the back begin to round, just back out of it. As long as you're feeling it in the hamstrings, you don't have to grab the foot. What I do want you to do though is, again, draw the inner edges of the shoulder blades towards each other. Because the stronger we get that, the more open the front of the body can be, the less tight the pectoral muscles can be, which we get from sitting so much. And really, it ends up being less injuries for our back, less back pain. Take one more breath here. And so inhale, just kind of lift the head. And then exhale, we'll release the pose and do the other side. Bend the left knee. That left foot is at the inner thigh of the right leg. And all of the same stuff. Untuck, press the leg, engage. They're called the bandhas, the locks. And then try to get the belly as close to the thigh as possible as you pull the shoulders back. Just walk the hands as you fold. This is also going to stretch our hamstrings safely. Instead of pulling at the ends of them and getting the fibrous tears, we're lengthening at the belly of the muscle, which is where the change happens. Take one more breath here. Keep engaging. Inhale, look up, and exhale, release. I'll let you round your back, I promise. We're gonna do it here. That's such my natural state. It's just like, can we just let go now? All right, bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Hold on to your ankles. That's the stable part we're gonna use. Inhale, lengthen. The first time we go down, keeping a straight back. So exhale, chin towards the floor, pull the shoulders back. So open the hips here first. And now inhale, come all the way up, lengthen through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, turn your spine into the letter C. So push the abdominals towards the spine, push the spine towards the back of the body, and drop the head. You can still be using the elbows to push the knees open. Drop the head completely here. The aim is to try to get the top of the head towards the feet. Inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, use your hands to bring your knees back together. We're gonna lie back down and end up where we started, on the back. Just kind of sit here with your knees bent for a moment. Done a lot of manipulation with the spine and the hips, so just let everything settle. Straighten the left leg. Keep the left leg active. Toes up towards the ceiling. The right heel is going to come as close to the body as possible. And then we're going to drop this knee out to the right. So we're in tree pose. We're in a supine tree pose. Bring the arms up overhead. And it really is insignificant what you do with your hands here. I mean, they could be interlaced. You can grab the elbows. You can just keep them open. You can even close the eyes here and just feel what's going on. Be sure the breath stays slow and steady. And then bring the arms back down. Use your hand to bring that right knee up towards the ceiling, straighten the leg, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Bend the left knee, drop it out to the left. Decide what you want to do with your hands. If you want to keep your hands down this time, you can. But keep the right leg active as if you're standing. Exhale, left knee comes up towards the ceiling. Straighten the leg. We're gonna do a lateral stretch here and then get ready for our Shavasana. So the right foot or heel is gonna go to the right side of the mat, the right corner. And then you're gonna cross your left foot over your right. Now reach your arms up and grab your left wrist and lean to the right. So you're just in a crescent here. So banana shape on your pose or on your mat. Opening up the left side of the body, maybe from your arms all the way down to your feet. Bring the hands back to center. Take your left foot to the left corner. Cross with the right. Now grab your right wrist. Lean to the left. Opening up the right side of the body. And then back to center and across. Take a long stretch, hug the knees, do what feels good here. And then we're gonna get ready for our last pose, which is corpse pose, Shavasana. If you have a sweatshirt or socks or something you wanna put on, or if you have a blanket, or if you wanna cover the eyes, you can do that. When you're ready, you're gonna lie back down with the legs straight. Palms are facing up. Ankles are separated, feet are just hanging out to the sides. Your shoulder blades are flat on the floor. And you do want a little bit of curve in the lower spine. That's important. You're gonna tip your chin down just a little bit so it's a little bit lower than the forehead. And then begin to soften all the muscles in the face. Noticing that each time you exhale, you can release the muscles a little bit more. Feeling all the muscles in the back of the neck soften. Carrying that softness into the shoulders and the arms. And then feel that release all the way down the spine into the hips. Feel the thigh bones drop to the back of the legs. And notice how this allows the knees to release, the shins, calf muscles, ankles, and arches of the feet. Feeling complete release from your head down to your feet. And when your mind begins to wander these next few moments as we sit in silence, know that that's normal. But when it does happen, see if you can begin to focus on the empty spaces in between the thoughts that are coming, and allow the rest to just kind of leave and float away.
Go ahead and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can move into the wrists and the ankles, maybe taking a stretch overhead or hugging the knees once again. And then you'll roll onto your right side when you're ready. We're going to pause here together. Using this as one last moment, an opportunity to let go. We'll take another breath or two here. And then go ahead and use the strength of your arms to push you up. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you this morning. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Have
You
an
guys did
awesome day.
amazing. I hope you all have a great day. Dana, let me know if you have any questions or anything.